Okay.
It's fucking 9 o'clock.
Hello. Okay.
Develop a definition of propaganda. Do you know what propaganda is?
Things that are used to encourage people to do different things that they might not necessarily want to do. It's like putting things into the brain.
Here, we'll just be safe with it.
Or we can just look it up if you would like to do that.
No. I used a lot of my paper.
Ooh. She's got a fancy definition.
No.
You've got a fancy definition. Ooh. Look at Mr. Smarty Pants. It's a good thing.
Yeah. Okay. The fuck did I write?
The early blues?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Blues music or what?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Boring shit.
Stop it. Blues is not boring.
Okay, propaganda, by definition, information, ideas, or rumor deliberately to spread widely to help or harm a person, group, or environment, institution, nation. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, you know what? I don't remember. I remember copying that. Okay. Because it was a quote, so I could just
Mm-hmm.
copy it.
Okay.
Okay. Propaganda is, for many persons, propaganda is a smear word carrying the suggestion that anything to which has applied is bad. Okay. I don't really think propaganda is all bad. Like, we couldn't promote our music at all if we didn't have propaganda.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you don't think it's all bad.
Yeah.
And specifically using an example as in music. Well, I think in the past it was mainly used a lot of the time as a bad thing. You know, I mean, you got Hitler and you got people like that. But then you also, like you said, you have, you know, them trying to influence good things, either through music or through the arts or things like that, you know. Having
Well, I
other...
mean, we needed people for in our army later. Uncle Sam pointing at us saying,
So
"Join
that's
us."
so that's good propaganda. But Hitler was saying, "Join us because we want to annihilate this whole race because of whatever, you know." So
Yeah, but well, he also wanted to conquer other parts of the world so he could, you know.
make this super
Yeah.
thing going on. So what we're
Which-
saying is that
which
there's
wasn't
good and bad.
Which wasn't necessarily a bad thing. It was just his goal. Like, you know, manifest destiny could definitely, from the Indians' perspective, was a bad thing. But
So if you were Jewish,
we wouldn't have America without manifest destiny.
so if you were Jewish and Hitler was going after you, it would be bad on the Jewish part, but not on his part. Is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, but in general, for humanity, it would be bad to try to annihilate an entire race.
Right.
Yes. So I would agree with you that propaganda can be used for good and for bad.
Okay.
Not necessarily just one or the other.
Is this too limited a meaning of word? No. It's a fucking big ass word. It means a lot of fucking different things.
Oh yeah, we just discussed that. It could be good or bad. It could be in between, depending on who is using it and what they're using it for.
Okay. One writer on the subject says propaganda is premeditated selection of what we see and hear designed to influence our attitudes. Is such a thing? Is there such a thing as unpremeditated propaganda? Oh, I can't fucking read.
Did you get that, or do you want me to read it?
I get it.
Okay. All right. You go first.
No, because the kind of point of propaganda. I mean, I don't think people should be in trouble for an interpretation that the artist didn't, you know, wasn't his intention. A lot of people, like Ozzy was in court a few times because, oh, well, because he listened to your music, my son decided to commit suicide. He's like, why would I want him to commit suicide? If anything, I don't want him to commit suicide, and I want him to buy more records.
So what you're saying, based on this question, is that his was premeditated, but not necessarily in a negative way. He wasn't trying to be negative in his premeditation of that idea.
No. What the fuck did you say?
Well, it's asking if if there's such a thing as unpremeditated propaganda.
No, I don't think there is. I guess is the short.
So you agree that propaganda, for the most part, is intentional.
Yeah.
It's thought out before. It's delivered to a certain group of people or whatever.
I'm gonna say 95% of the time.
95% of the time. Okay. Well, let me see.
Sometimes I feel like you're about to disagree with me just to disagree with me.
And I don't play devil's advocate. Not yet, anyway. Well.
You're our teacher.
I would say that. I would say probably about 85% of the time, maybe 90% of the time, it is propaganda is meant to be intentional, and then the other times it kind of just happens. These circumstances happen where it just kind of exists.
Yeah.
Because that's the point of propaganda. You're trying to get this idea across. This group of people or thing or whatever will do what you want it to do. Think the way you want it to think. That's the point of propaganda, whether it's good or bad.
Are all forms of propaganda concealed, or are some open? And of course there are some open. Yeah, of course they're open. Come see our show.
Well, of course. It's right there. But in the past, it was hidden a lot.
Yeah.
In the past, a lot of propaganda. That's why the sense of...
Well, there was more believability in our country back then. Like, we weren't always so, like, anti-government control. Not saying everybody is like that, but...
We were more afraid of what was outside of our country than we were of what was inside.
Yeah.
Who was going to bomb us next and who was going to invade because of all the wars. But, so in the past, it was more concealed. It was hidden and, listen to the CD, listen to it backwards and you can hear all this propaganda, what it's saying. Da, 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 da. But nowadays, people do it so openly because they want you to be influenced. They don't care about hiding it so much anymore because what's the point? Unless it's something truly sinister. So, I would agree.
Okay. Can propaganda be used in public interest? I don't even know what the fuck that means.
Can propaganda be used for something to influence the public? Not just a certain group of people or a certain person or whatever, but like in general. Like for the good of humankind. Or is it just like selfish reasons?
No, I don't think you could.
Like think of global warming and propaganda or something like that. Or something like on a bigger scale. Could propaganda be used to influence a mass amount of people, like, and pique their interest and keep it and make them influence them, used for the public interest? So.
Like the whole group, I mean... Nowadays, no. I think back then, because I think information travels too fast now for like a huge mass group.
To be easily influenced.
Yeah. Versus back then, we didn't have internet and like we didn't have this huge exchange of ideas as much as we do now.
I think it can be used in the public interest if it's delivered in the right way. But I agree that I don't think it can affect as many people, like you said, as it did in the past. Because we can research. People can tell us to do a certain thing, but that doesn't mean we have to. But back then, we did it because Susie Q down the street was doing it. So.
Yeah.
But.
What do you call that shit? Give in to peer pressure.
Yes, peer pressure. Do you want to just like lean back the screen a little bit?
Or yeah, so push that down.
Okay. Okay.
There you
Alright.
go.
Okay. Is it a phenomenon of recent origin? So is propaganda recent?
Yeah, when I look at a Creator album, I'm just like, a Creator album with a human being played like a cello, it makes me want to buy that album.
Yeah, but is it recent? Propaganda was used a long time ago.
Yeah.
As early as the First World War, and probably before that.
Yeah, it was used in Julius Caesar's time.
Well, there you go. Congratulations. So it's not of recent origin. So.
Oh, okay, that's the question.
Yeah, is the phenomenon of recent, like, is it a recent thing, a recent fad, or a recent thing that's just kind of popped up, in the past?
Why have it played such an important computer history? Because people need to be driven towards a certain goal for us to accomplish anything. No one is self-sufficient anymore. Like my grandpa, he grew his own food. He dug a hole to get damn water.
He dug a hole to get damn water. If the teacher heard this conversation, she'd probably be laughing her ass off. Alright,
Oh man, I talk normal in class and then I write a normal paper. This is the down button.
What did you do to my computer? Stop
This is
fucking
the
it up.
down button.
Do not kill my computer.
There it goes. Okay.
Okay, well, I would say it played an important part in human history because not only did it drive people to like certain goals, but it inspired people. Or people that pushed propaganda in the past and in recent times were doing it to sorry, I have that hurt. A cramp. We're using it to inspire people to do something, whether it was a goal or just a change in life, whether on a big scale or a small scale. I don't know. I would say that's why it was important, because it was inspirational, or it drove them to a certain goal, and it gave us a sense of, I don't know, it pushed us past our limits. Like what are our limits and how far can we go past them? And who's going to follow us? And why should they follow us?
Yeah, we watched a video in class that was just like, a good leader makes people believe that they are capable of more than they ever thought they were capable of. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing a teacher does every single lesson.
No duh. There's, I don't know, there's just so many instances of people wonder all the time, why should I follow you? Whether it's a leader, a political leader, or a war leader, or whatever, and they have to, there's something fueling it, whether it's propaganda or something else,
Yeah, I have more of a belief in my teacher after hearing other students and blah blah blah. I guess that's more research than propaganda, but I did not believe my first teacher at Wesleyan. It was my first voice teacher. He was terrible.
Propaganda influences people, like your teacher influences you, has influenced other students, and in turn, either one, they end up with a bad or good taste in their mouth.
Is that really propaganda, or is that just advertisement and word of mouth? I don't know.
Part of propaganda, the way it's done, is word of mouth.
Okay.
So it's...
Oh yeah, bandwagon. Yeah.
Bandwagon theory. Yeah. Jump on the bandwagon because everybody else is doing it.
Yeah. Would you wish to stamp out all propaganda? No, because our whole... we would not... Our field would not exist without propaganda.
You talking about the musical field?
Yeah.
I think it would. I think it wouldn't. I think in certain aspects of it, it wouldn't go as far though,
Yeah.
because we wouldn't. I wouldn't be like, hey, come see my show, or hey, come see this concert, or hey, go see this because everybody else is doing it, or hey, you should join blah blah blah. As long as it's on the good side of propaganda or good side of advertisements or the good side of bandwagon theory, I don't mind it so much. Now, if it gets creepy and weird, yeah, I would want to stamp out that part of it.
Okay, creepy and weird how?
Creepy and weird as in, you go do this, and if you don't, there will be consequences. You will get hurt in some way, or you will get judged in some way,
Okay, I'm really wanting for us to disagree on something.
You want me to disagree with you on something intentionally?
No. But
You were expecting me to?
we need to. This is going to be a very boring and straightforward paper.
Oh.
Not that straightforward paper is what she wants. Anyway, alright. I kind of missed your last statement. What?
Oh, stamping out propaganda.
Yeah.
I would like to stamp out the negative side of propaganda to a certain degree. I mean, it's good to have it there to let us see where we shouldn't go. Because if it wasn't, then everything would be perfect to a certain degree. They would be all rosy, and we wouldn't be able to see our limits and our places where we shouldn't go, So I would say stamp out, or at least mediate negative propaganda, and then the good propaganda in moderation too.
Who the fuck knows what good propaganda is? Everybody has different opinions.
True, but if you're saying go to my show or your child will die, that's a bad version of propaganda.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
You're threatening my child. Yes, we got a disagreement. Yes. Okay, so you're threatening my child. Why the hell would I agree with that? I will not go to your damn show if you're going to kill my child.
If you are bold enough to say that, it makes you want to go to that show.
If you're bold enough to say that you're going to kill my child or hurt my child in some way, I am not going to go to your show. Now, if it was a different situation or a different type of threat, maybe, but if it involves something that I value that much, no.
And wouldn't you go just out of fear?
No, because I'm not a goat.
Propaganda.
I am not a goat or a sheep to be led around in a flock because I'm scared. I don't go for scare tactics.
Was that an attack on black metal?
Scare tactics? No. No. I had to throw something in there to make you argue.
Do you have a problem with people putting goats and naked people on stage?
No, I'm talking about the bandwagon theory, being led around just because everybody else is doing it, or scare tactics, doing it because I'm afraid something's going to happen. Why? I'm too stubborn to do that. I'm going to fight against you. No. I will do my own version of what you're doing, but do it in a more humane way. So, see, I had to find something for us to argue about.
I don't really think that was the argument. I think we were agreeing, but not overly. Okay, this will be fun. Okay. Get in your group to distinguish between propaganda and education.